Ever wondered how hard it is to find a good accessory? Well, I set out to see if I could gather some data on the RNG involved every time an accessory is dropped from a Chaos Dungeon. The key things that I wanted to determine were the type of accessory that would drop, the combat stat distribution, the engravings that were most common and least commonly found, the likelihood of good combinations of engravings, the average number of engraving nodes the accessory would have, the average number of Malice nodes the accessory would have, and also the average quality of that particular accessory. Keep in mind that these are drops from 35 characters ranging from item levels of 1540 to 1620, with a total sample size of 2104 accessories. Just a disclaimer that this data is based on a week's worth of drops from my main NA West roster and may vary on different accounts or regions. Also, there were things I did not test in this experiment. These include whether or not unrested or rested Chaos Dungeons affected the quality of the drops, because I was only doing rested dungeons for this experiment. The distribution based on item level, the distribution of different types of Malice engravings, and then all the different pairings of engravings, specific node distributions on each engraving, and specific class engraving distributions due to time constraints. This is my first attempt at testing accessory statistics, and even after a week I had already pinpointed inefficiencies and other ways I'd collect the data if I were to attempt this again to increase accuracy and reduce data recording time. Keep in mind I manually inputted the information during this experiment, which multiplied the time it took me to do my Chaos Dungeons by more than 5 times the usual amount. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. First, I created 5 sections on the spreadsheet. The first section tracked how many of each type of accessory dropped, and whether they were necklaces, earrings, or rings. These tallies were separated into either Relic or Ancient, with the totals of both being added up underneath. The total amount of accessories was also tallied up in this section. The average quality of both Relic and Ancient was also recorded here, and the average quality of all accessories was calculated underneath. This section is also linked to the 5th part of the spreadsheet. The second section was a tally of each of the engravings found on accessories. This was the most time-consuming part of the data recording, as I had to manually input each of the numbers for each of the accessories. I will find a better way to record data if I do this experiment again in the future. The second half of this section was a tally of common engraving combinations that usually sell for higher prices on the auction house. This would give me a rough indication on how often good engraving combinations occur out of the sample size. The third section is a stat distribution of combat stats on earrings and rings on the left, and necklaces on the right, following the same pattern of Relic, Ancient, and total numbers as the previous sections. The fourth section is the engraving node distribution on the left and the Malice nodes on the right. And the fifth section is 2 tables that allow me to track the type and quality of each accessory, sorted from Relic on the left and Ancient on the right. These values are aggregated in the first section of the spreadsheet. After disabling auto dismantle on all my characters, I was good to go. Using this spreadsheet, I would then do my Chaos Dungeons on my characters as normal. I would then record the usual Chaos Dungeon data into my Fate Ember spreadsheet for my Fate Ember videos. If you haven't seen them, feel free to check them out. Before dismantling the accessories, I would sort them all and manually tally up all the data in my accessory tracking spreadsheet. I'd rinse and repeat on every character, and after a week's worth of data, I decided to stop. This was due to a combination of me being slightly distracted by Bitcraft Closed Alpha, as well as the fact that I was taking 3 to 4 times longer to record the data than the actual time it took me to do the Chaos Dungeons on each character. I learned very quickly that staring at numbers for too long resulted in a headache speedrun. After all the tedious recording of data, I had to break them down into distribution percentages. First was the accessory drop type. I received 1,306 Relic drops in total, and 798 Ancient drops in total. For Relic accessories, necklaces had a 21.8% drop rate, earrings had a 39.8% drop rate, and rings had a 38.4% drop rate. For Ancient, necklaces had 19.3% drop rate, earrings with 41.9%, and rings with 38.8%. Overall, necklaces had a 20.9% drop rate, earrings had a 40.6% drop rate, and rings had a 38.5% drop rate. The average quality of Relic accessories was 42, and Ancient accessories were 46. With an overall average of 44. Now, for the engravings. First off is the Relic accessories. The top engravings with the highest drop rates were Class engravings, Master of Escape, Strong Will, Lightning Fury, and Master's Tenacity and Shield Piercing, while the engravings with the lowest drop rates were Raid Captain, Ambush Master, Cursed Doll, Grudge, Adrenaline, and Supercharge. Keep in mind that I counted all class engravings under one tally, so if I were to separate them into two different engravings, then the drop rates would be approximately half, and Necromancer would be the next replacement. The following is all the engravings for Relic accessories and their drop rates in descending order. Feel free to pause the video here if you want to take a longer look at the distribution, and continue when you're ready. Next up is Ancient Accessories. The engravings for highest drop rates were Strong Will, Lightning Fury, Stabilized Status, Crushing Fist, Fortitude, and Emergency Rescue. While the engravings with the lowest drop rates were Heavy Armor, Adrenaline, Cursed Doll, Master Brawler and Ambush Master, All Out Attack, Grudge, Raid Captain, Barricade, and Keen Blunt Weapon. Once again, these are the drop rates of engravings in descending order, so feel free to pause and continue at your own pace. Finally, the total distribution based on my entire sample size. The highest drop rates were Class Engravings, Strong Will, Lightning Fury, Stabilized Status, and Master's Tenacity. The lowest were Raid Captain, Cursed Doll, Ambush Master, Adrenaline, and Grudge. If you split the class engravings drop rate by half, then the next engraving would be Enhanced Shield. This is the overall distribution of engravings for my entire sample size in descending order. Once again, feel free to pause and continue when you're ready. The useful engraving combinations that I tracked were Grudge with Adrenaline, Keen Blunt Weapon, Raid Captain, and Cursed Doll. Adrenaline with Keen Blunt Weapon and Raid Captain with Keen Blunt Weapon. Also, I tracked Awakening with Vital Point Hit and Expert, and Vital Point Hit with Expert. Plus class engravings with Grudge, Raid Captain, Adrenaline, Keen Blunt Weapon, Vital Point Hit, and Awakening. Overall, these combinations were found in 4.21% of Relic accessories, 2.26% of Ancient, and 3.47% in total. I'm aware that there are more useful engraving combinations, but these are the ones that I tracked. Also, class engraving combinations included drops where that combination wouldn't have been useful. For example, Surge Awakening or Blessed Aura with Grudge. So the true total is most likely lower than the drop rate stated above. The next part is all about combat stats distribution. This is the average stat distribution for my dataset for Relic, Ancient, and Total accessories. For necklaces, this is the distribution of the big three, with the rest below in descending order for Relic, Ancient, and Total accessories. Finally, we have data on engraving and Malice nodes. Now we can look at all these statistics combined and see how the layers of RNG can affect the likelihood of getting a good accessory. If we were to drop a Relic or an Ancient accessory, it will most likely be an earring with the Domination stat. For Relic, there's a 44.37% chance you could gain a useful combat stat, while on Ancient, there is a 40.99% chance. If the drop was a necklace, it will most likely be crit or swiftness on Relic, or crit and specialization on Ancient. Although the drop chance is higher for these stat combinations, there is more variables, and the overall drop chance of good stat combinations is lower. Relic has a 21.4% chance of getting a good stat combination, while Ancient has a 20.13% chance of getting a good stat combination. If the Relic accessory doesn't have a class engraving, it'll most likely have Master of Escape and Strong Will as its two engravings, with a 4.21% or less chance that the engraving combo is usable. For Ancient accessories, it will most likely be Strong Will and Lightning Fury, with a 2.26% or less chance that the engraving combo is usable. For engraving nodes, Relic accessories will most likely be +3/+3, with a 32.24% chance of being +5/+3. Ancient accessories are most likely to be +5/+3, with a 31.95% chance of being +6/+3. So if you do get lucky and get the 5/3 on your Relic or the 6/3 on your Ancient accessory, you still have to win the 50-50 split of the right nodes being on the right engraving. For Malice nodes, Relic accessories will most likely have a +2 Malice, with a 31.93% chance of being +1, whereas Ancient accessories will most likely be +3 Malice, with a 29.57% chance of being +1. If you somehow manage to get past all of this RNG with the best outcomes, the average quality of your Relic accessory will be 42, and for your Ancient accessory, it will be 46 quality on average, so you're going to have to hope for a high roll on your accessory drop. Just to put it into perspective, none of the accessories that I received during the week of testing would have sold on the auction house for more than 500 gold. That's pretty much all my findings in this video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and feel free to leave a like and a sub. This took quite a while, so any feedback would be greatly appreciated in the comments below. Also, if you have any other suggestions for me to test, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. Also, if you play on the NA West region, you can catch me live at twitch.tv/JamaicanJazz, where I play Lost Ark and sometimes a bit of variety. I'd love to see you there. Also, stay tuned for monthly update videos on Fate Ember stats and other cool videos Lost Ark and non-Lost Ark related. Happy raiding, and good luck on your accessory rolls. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!